I'm Mike Setchell. I'm running for Vice President of Membership, Clubs and Societies at the Queen Margaret Union. And I'm in my third year of study of digital media. I'm 23 years old.
Cool, thank you for coming in today. Firstly, can you explain how your skills from previous roles in the union will help you if elected?
Okay, yeah. So I have held the position, well, I currently hold the position of events convener at the union. This is going to help me out with organising Freshers Week, mainly because it's the biggest lineup and the biggest investment in events on campus. And realistically, the year I've spent convening the events committee has given me a lot of skills within events planning, budgeting, time planning, managing people, volunteers. And my previous position before that, current student representative, gave me a nice in-depth look at how the union runs. So combine those two together and it will be a very, very effective skill set for running an exec position.
Perfect, thanks. So you say that the QMU hasn't been doing amazingly in recent years, and as you've been a part of the team, would you accept some responsibility for those failures?
I don't think anybody that's on the team can accept no responsibility for those failures, but it is an onwards and downwards trend that's been going on for years, and not just at our union, at unions across the country. We see a steady decline in the trade that we're all getting. Other companies are able to provide the same services we do but cheaper. So realistically, yes, I have a small role, as much as anybody else did.
Okay, thank you. Could you also please shed some light on your kind of slogan, "Make Membership Matter"?
Make membership matter. So I took that slogan mainly because we've seen downwards trends in membership sign-ups over the years as well. And although we've got rolling membership now, meaning it's kind of hard to tell in comparison to years before we had rolling membership, I'm running on a campaign to make it worthwhile being a member again. I want to make our members deals and make our members feel valued. Because at the moment I don't think that they are valued at all particularly.
Okay, fair enough. And actually on that topic, in your manifesto under the subheading membership offers, you mentioned food deals. I was just wondering if you have discussed any of this with Cafe 22 and the Food Factory to ensure the possibility of that coming through.
In all honesty, I haven't had the chance to go and actually speak to our managers about these particular deals, but it's on the cards for the next couple of days. I'm going to go make sure they are completely viable, and if not, it'll be my intention to find alternatives. But realistically, I can't see any issue with it. It's not like we'll be losing much on a cup of tea.
Okay, excellent. And similarly, you also talk about exclusive members-only drinks to be sold at the same price as the house equivalent. Mm-hmm. How would you see that being feasible?
We already offer discounts on the drinks that we do sell, meaning that our profit margins on those can obviously be cut slightly. I'm not saying we get in bottles of Shiva Regal and offer those at the same prices, same as Famous Grouse, but it's definitely possible to get in some slightly nicer drinks and price them at the same as the ones we have now. We might be losing a little, but we're adding value for our members. Okay,
and also you arguably mock Life members, albeit from a light-hearted place, who do not have email addresses. Do you think that could affect having proper engagement with Life members if they perhaps don't see themselves being taken seriously?
I think that our Life members can take a tiny little joke, as I think we all can. We can all take a small joke at our expense. What
changes could we expect to see in Freshers Week, if any?
Well, the main changes that I'd like to see our lineup, which has remained unchanged mainly unchanged for a number of years now. I'd like to see that basically dissected. I'd like to see any events that haven't been working for us slashed. I'd like to see any events that do work for us built up even further so that we can offer more to the freshers that we have. So realistically, I'd like to basically take everything we do, dissect it, have a look at the bare bones, and then rebuild from scratch if need be.
That seems like quite a substantial task. Obviously a one-year term, do you think that's plausible?
Well, we do Freshers Week. Freshers Week happens year on year, and there's no problems and no issues really in changing one or two events for other events. I don't think it'll be that much work, because realistically we take different acts every year anyway. So it'll be no different than just holding a different event.
Okay. And at the beginning of your manifesto, you note the effects of funding cuts across the campus.
Yep.
How can you ensure that you fulfil your promises with this monetary decline?
That's a good question. We're all campaigning across campus this year. The cross-campus committees have all been in favour of arguing against the budget cuts that we're getting. We've been seeing a much more united front, although there are some that would rather not push the boat out too far, because the university does provide all our funding. But realistically, I'd like to see cross-campus working together again to push for further budget, less budget cuts rather than budget increases. Yeah, it just means we need to be a little bit more frugal. We need to be more careful with where each penny goes.
Okay, excellent. And your manifesto is quite substantial.
Yep.
And you said, obviously, with Freshers Week, you feel you'll be able to make the changes without too much issue. But as your overall goals, do you think that is realistic?
My overall goal, I wouldn't have made them my overall goals if I didn't think they were realistic. It's definitely possible to add value to membership through making our members feel like they're getting something that our non-members don't get, as opposed to just slightly reduced versions of what our non-members get anyway. Life member engagement is definitely doable. It just requires being slightly more on the ball and actually contacting them. And our clubs and societies are already getting more involved, so it's more about just opening a dialogue and seeing what we can do for them. So yeah.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for coming down today.
Awesome.